Why spend a fortune on a fancy board game table when you can build one yourself? Here is how I made mine, and it just might be my best one yet. I want to share with you a detailed step-by-step guide on how I transformed this regular table into the ultimate board game table. A lot of people asked for this video, so I hope you enjoy. Before you do anything, take your time and ask yourself what makes a great board game table. What features like lights and cup holders do you appreciate? And what games are you planning on playing? If you like a lot of deck builders, then you might want a card rail. Or if you like big epic games, yes, you're big and epic, but the experience was underwhelming. Where have I heard that before? If you like those kinds of games, then of course you want to prioritize space. When you have decided on your must-have features, take a look around. You might already have a table that can be converted. If not, you can buy a second-hand table for pretty cheap. I fell in love with this table because of how it looks. Plus, it checked all the right boxes. High frame, so miniatures can stay on the play area with the lid on. Good size for most games. And no weird leg or frame construction. Like this. Or this. For exact dimensions, check out my written guide on BoardGameGeek. Link in the description. But it did come with a few challenges. One thing I didn't like was the tabletop itself. It wasn't a single solid piece, but made of several boards, held together with these big nails, which I also really hate. Sure, they look cool and give the table its character, but it was a pain to cut them off. I used a fane machine to cut the nails and did my best to not damage the boards. And to make the tabletop one solid piece, I glued a thin sheet of plywood underneath and added a frame so the tabletop easily could be guided into place. It worked well at first, but after a year the plywood warped and got this banana shape, which was really noticeable. This is what it was like to have dinner. My carpenter friend Joseph helped me weld this metal frame together instead. And this is the final result. So, in short, I highly recommend you find a table with a single piece tabletop. It's easier to remove and you don't run the risk of liquids or crumbs to find their way through the cracks and onto your board game. One downside of a solid tabletop is that it's heavy. You can remove it by yourself, but it's difficult. In my opinion, it's an unnecessary workout for a board gamer like me. We usually just store it tilted against the wall on a mat to prevent it from tipping over. Another thing that I don't really like is the chairs. The ones that came with my table looks great, but they're not the most comfortable for long game nights. So my tip is invest in some really good ergonomic chairs. That suits your kitchen style if your table doubles as a dining table. When you have chosen your table and removed the tabletop, it's time to plan and assemble the table and integrate all the features that you want. For my build, I wanted lights, modular tables for snacks and drinks, and a card rail to free up some space from the play area. I also like using fabric to cover any imperfections. It not only hides mistakes, but adds a nice aesthetic and a tactile feel to the play surface and the armrests. However, I couldn't find an easy solution to create a standing card rail with fabric, so I came up with this solution instead. I designed the armrest in 2 sections. This rail supports the snack tables and can also double as a card holder. We often play co-op games, so having the cards flat like this is not an issue for us. This is how the frame looked initially. The easiest way to build the armrest would be to build it on top of the frame. But then with the lid on, you would be able to see it from the side, if you don't build a frame around it like this. But also by doing this, you add height to the table, which I didn't want. So I used my Fane machine to cut away this section of the leg, so I could put the first section of the armrest in place. I attached the main armrest first, and added the card rail underneath after. Constructing the armrest this way allowed it to rest on the cutout section of the leg, providing support and making it flush with the table. I then secured it to the frame with large screws. Then I covered the armrest in fabric, but securing it was a real challenge. I could have saved some money by using smaller strips of fabric, but I thought it would look so much better if there wasn't a seam in the armrest. So I covered the armrest with one single big sheet of fabric. To secure the fabric, I cut out a long thin wood strip of about 2 to 3 mm thickness and laid it on the outer edge of the armrest. I folded the fabric around this and then stapled through it into the armrest. This made it so much easier to fold the fabric the rest of the way around the armrest. And then I secured it on the other side, which gave it this really neat finish. When I attached the card rail to the armrest, I made sure to have 5 mm space between them so that it could hold the cards. I first covered the card rail with fabric, before screwing it on underneath the armrest. Then cut out the sideboards. I made one flat one and one with the cup holders. These cup holders are actually made for boats, but work great. I stained the side tables with wood stain to match the color of the table as best I could. And I also made this stopper so dice wouldn't get lost underneath the side tables. Our standard setup looks like this and works great with 6 players. And the extra boards can be stored underneath the table with the help of some hinges. I spray painted and mounted like this. And now the lights. Apparently, it's not a real board game table until you have included some lights. So I bought a light strip from IKEA and secured it underneath the armrest. Since I didn't build an armrest on the shorter sides, I had to run the lights underneath the table instead. We attached this holder to store the lid when not in use. And put the button here so that one person could be the master light controller. Now to the most important part, the play area. I used a 12 mm thick plywood and added this soft cotton-like fabric underneath the green one. This gives it a slight cushion effect, similar to a neoprene mat, and makes it easier to pick up cards. I also included this in the armrest for extra comfort. This green furniture fabric that I used has a slight stretch to it, which I highly recommend, because it made it so much easier to wrap around and avoid wrinkles. I slid the player area in and secured it with these boards, which I also stained. I'm very happy with how everything turned out. I didn't know anything about carpentry before I made my board game tables, so if I can do it, you can too. And if you want to see how I made my other board game tables, you can watch this one.